There we go. It's recording. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me make sure I get all the users in. We've got 52 people signed in now. Let me see. Okay. Got a couple minutes to go. Let's see. Here's a couple more coming in. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, we got 55 people in now. And we are recording. So it's 6:58. Here's a couple more people coming in. Okay. Hey, Ron, can you hear us this time?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's perfect. I just wanted to test it. Okay, so the only board member not on right now is Joe Swinehart. He had a conflict, so he's not on. All right. So it is 1 minute to go. Let me see. I got another waiter. Let me get him or her, whoever it is. A few more people signing in. We're going to be we just passed 60 now. That's a good turnout, actually, on this topic. All righty. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Make sure there's nobody else waiting. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time to get involved. Spend a little time talking about our community. Let's call this meeting to order. We are recording this. Our secretary is taking the minutes, and I need to make sure that I say this on every meeting now that I know better. In the great state of Kentucky, anyone attending this meeting or listening to this meeting or recording this meeting who is not a member, an HOA lot owner, is asked to please vacate this meeting. Don't plan to use anything you hear from this meeting in any way, shape, or form without our permission. If you do, you're going to find out it's not going to be good for you if it's any way, shape, or form negative on this HOA. Okay, this will be a regular board meeting that we are required to have, and it's important to have this one because this is the agenda where we approve the annual budget, and have to get that step out of the way. We do have a few process steps we go through, and then we have about the outline that we're supposed to follow. But there's some old business, some new business, and we do have some questions people have submitted, and we'll do our best to answer those. I will say we have 6 of the 7 board members on this meeting. I see I've got new people. Let me let them in. There's 6 more people went in. 6 of the 7 board members are in attendance. 1 had a conflict. So we will, let me get these last couple of people in. We're up to 69 people now. Okay. Okay, so at this point, I'd like to have Evelyn Mills, no, Sharon, I should tell everyone we got, like everybody else, we got 1 board member with COVID, one board member with a bad cold, and all the rest of us are laying low trying not to get this crazy thing. But Sharon Dreer is the vice president. She's going to read the minutes and the motions from the last meeting as the requirement asks that we do. So let's go ahead and do that, Sharon, and let's get that procedure out of the way.
December the 7th, 2021. Location of the meeting was Zoom meeting. The time was 7 p.m. Present was Bob Thompson, Sharon Dreher, Evelyn Mills, Joe Schutz, Ron Huff, Brad Dudley, and Joe Schweinhart. Bob Thompson called the meeting to order at 7. The meeting minutes will be posted on the website. Anyone that is not a lot owner is asked to disconnect, and any recordings or use of any part of this meeting by anyone who is not a lot owner is strictly prohibited. Evelyn Mills read the minutes to the June 17, 2021 meeting. Sharon made a motion to accept the minutes as read, and Joe Schweinhart seconded the motion. The minutes were approved unanimously. Evelyn Mills read the motions that have been made since the June meeting. And the motions now made since June are to allow Don Cox to file a complaint to uphold our deed restrictions regarding Pargoff, Thieneman, and Stockyards. Allowing filing of a lawsuit to reverse Planning and Zoning Commission's decision for Dobson Lane development to connect to Blacksmith Road as the only open access to 108 home development. New survey of Blacksmith Road for Louisville Planning and Zoning. A traffic study, irrigation repairs costing $2,119. Greenscapes invoice $2,544 for new fixtures at the Colonel Hancock entrance. Pay Greenscapes invoice for $1,060 for removal of old wooden sign structure at Long Home Road. Use tree contractors to take down trees at Long Home and put in replacement and trim trees at the Glenmary Farm entrance for $3,551. Invoice for legal fees for September, $9,743. Motion to write off $2,328.32 for late fees due to bankruptcy. Legal fees for October, $14,916.90, $12,777.40, of which is for Dobson Lane. The financials were read in by Joe Schutz and discussed revenue and expenses. The revenues were up $10,000 from last year due to collecting some old accounts and some additional ads in the Maple Leaf. However, the expenses were up $69,000 due to the snow removal in January, which was $26,000 over budget, and the legal fees being $59,000 over budget. $38,000 due to the Dobson Lane development and $26,000 regarding the golf course property. There are other items that are up due to inflation. He discussed that the reserves are down due to this, and we need about $150,000 in reserves due to the 6% increase in taxes that was added to our services a year ago, and the ongoing inflation. We will need an increase in dues in order to continue. The increase in dues will be greater this year. There is a report of LG&E raising prices along with other utilities. We are also looking to enhance the landscaping. Last increase in dues was 2015 due to the increased time in addressing loan management company and other requests for information from realtors, along with increased needs for more timely information regarding services we are going to address this year. These items will be in the 2022 budget, including the dues increase. Landscaping. Some of the islands need to be addressed along with some of the entrances. There have been some trees that need to be addressed, including some trees on the Long Home Island. While we didn't want to take them down, we had an arborist look at them, and one of the trees was clearly dying and the other had a disease and was going to die also. They will be replaced. We will also be addressing some of the street signs. Snow removal. Policy is posted on the website. We will follow the policy last year to the letter. It didn't make anyone, including us, happy. Snow removal was not in the initial plan for the HOA. It is actually the city's responsibility, but if we wait for the city to take care of it, It's a low priority. Some communities spend a lot more and have higher dues to compensate. Once we checked in the last year, spent over $120,000 for snow removal. Golf course property. We have had our attorney file legal action on Par Golf, Thieneman, Neil Roberts to stop any of the activities that have occurred. We have discovered that Stockyard Bank no longer holds a mortgage on the property. The hearing is set for December the 22nd. Thieneman has done a lot of work to clean up the property. The Dobson Lane development.
We can't
Sharon,
hear.
you went to mute for some reason.
Okay.
All right.
Did y'all hear the Dobson Lane?
No.
Yeah,
right after
we heard the
Dobson
beginning
Lane.
and then you went out.
Okay. They did not change anything with the Dobson Lane. They ignored our right for the fence to block access, which is in our deed restrictions. We have filed suit against Ball Homes and Planning and Zoning to have the decision reversed. Dues increase. In order to cover the increase in inflation and to up our reserves, I'm having a hard time with that word.
It is inflaming, isn't it?
We need to increase our dues. We instituted a maximum and an increase of 20% in 2017 in the bylaws. The proposal is to go from 300 to 350 a year. Joe Schutz made a motion to increase the dues from 300 to 350, and it was seconded by Eva Lynn Mills. The vote to approve was 7-0. This increases will be included in the upcoming dues. Management company. The community is so large that the timeliness of completion of tasks is difficult. Information needed from loan officers, realtors, along with deed restriction violations and architectural requests all require timely information. We have looked at a management company to assist in this. We are looking at Paragon and would have a 1-year contract with an option for either side to end the contract with a 60-day notice. The cost is $12 per year per household. They would be doing the communication with realtors, maintaining the mailbox from the PO box, paying the bills, communicating with deed restrictions, sending welcome information and architectural requests. There are some questions that were asked and answered. One was regarding the new lawsuit against Par Golf, Thieneman, and Robertson. The suit is to stop the action of an illegal sale and activities that are occurring on the property. Another question was if the $12 for the management company would result in another increase in dues. No, it will not. There was a question about soliciting bids for landscaping, snow removal. Our contract is up at the end of 2022. We will be accepting bids during the summer of 2023. Bob adjourned the meeting at 8:04. And I have 3 December motions to read in. On December the 2nd, there was a motion to approve $28,246.81 in legal fees that is out of budget. This is a legal invoice that covers Thieneman's homeless issues, $26,878.25. Long home property, $1,166.06, and general collection work, $202.50. The motion was approved 7-0. 12.7, motion to increase dues by $50 to $350 per year, starting with the 2022 dues. Motion was approved 7-0. 12.21, motion to approve solar panels for the rear of the house on Kendrick Crossing was approved 7-0. I make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'm the one that did the minutes, and I have found an error with her reading it. In the last page, we will be accepting bids during the summer of 2022, not 23. I'll correct that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So with that correction, Sharon, you want to remake?
I make the motion to accept the minutes as read with a correction of the right year.
A second.
All right, all in favor of accepting those, please signify by raising your hand. I can see you. Okay, that's 6 yes. Okay. Okay. All right, the next agenda item and the main purpose of this meeting is to approve the 2022 budget. And the preliminary version of that budget was mailed out with the courtesy invoices. And we have learned that we should wait until the first week of the year to finalize the carryover so we can set the actual budget. And we're fortunate as a neighborhood to have a guy handling this, Joe Schutz, who's fairly experienced with handling this type of a task. So Joe, could you just give us the final update? And we need to, if there's not any changes, we need to vote on this. So please guide us through that, Joe.
Certainly. Thanks, Bob. First, just one word about the expenses, since they are final now for the year. We ended up at $341,826 in expenses this year, which was over budget. We did have reserve to cover those unbudgeted items. And now our reserve is at $60,434, which is also incorporated into the budget. We discussed the expenses quite a bit last time, so I'm not going to repeat it because it did. And nothing unusual occurred in December that we hadn't talked about already. So the second thing, and the thing we need to vote on tonight, is the budget itself. The budget that was sent out with all the invoices and that we discussed, excuse me, last meeting in December is exactly the same, except for the change in the amount of the reserve that's left. And once again, that's the $60,434. Everything that you had seen in the budget in your invoice, if you looked at that, and what the board has already seen is exactly the same. It does have the dues increase already incorporated into it. And we hit the spots that we said we were going to try to take care of this year that we felt like needed some additional work. So the expenses for this year are at $308,872 for this year's budget.
Hey, Joe, I have a question. So just to gauge carryover from last year versus carryover for this going into 22, there's a good sized delta there, which is related to the reason for being in favor of the $50 increase. So what roughly was the delta dollar there?
That's exactly right. 65,173.
Yeah.
And basically we had $125,000 in reserve, which was getting really close to where we probably ought to shoot for all the time, to keep $150,000 in reserve to cover, at least a half year worth of expenses. And we went the wrong way this year. So that's one of the things I think that stimulated that conversation about what we need to do with dues and seeing all the expenses starting to creep up was the other reason. So
yeah, just to comment on that, Joe, one of our duties as board members and then as a community, we need to be well aware that we need to stay fairly potent financially, especially in this environment. We've got, two active topics that are challenging us, and if you can't defend your community on its very basics, pretty soon you won't have a community. So that's unavoidable. There are other variables too. Prices are going up, but we have, snow removal can get to be out of hand. And then just as an example, somebody asking, you hit something like this last option that we had to take on legal action. That was very necessary, and that was $28,000. Without being able to do that, you have no control over your future. So as a community, we need to stay as informed as we can about why we do these things, and what it takes to, to preserve this community. It's not an accident that it happens. We just need to be aware of it and take the right actions. So looks like a good plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a good plan to me.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion to approve that budget.
Yeah, Joe, do you have a date and then Rev so we can reference that in the minutes on that budget that we're voting on?
I'm sorry, Bob, what was that?
Is there a date and a revision on the actual budget that we're approving? How do I know that what we've approved is exactly what you have recorded there?
Yeah, I've got a date of 12/5, but actually we probably ought to use today's date, right?
Yeah, just update it to today's date then, and let's
Yeah,
let's
and
call
that's what I'll post.
Okay, good.
The financials as well as the budget will be posted after the meeting on the website, and I'll use the current date.
Good. I like that. Okay, we had a
All right.
motion. We had a motion. We need a second to vote on this.
Second.
All right, good. All right, we have a motion and a second to vote to approve this budget for 2022. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All right, I see 6 hands.
Your other
That's
right
six.
hand.
Yeah, your other right hand. Six yeses. Good. Thank you all so much. All right. That was very important. I had listed under my agenda items, just to mention it again. I know it was covered in the minutes from the last meeting, but the people, hold on, I see 2 new people popped up. Let me admit them. Hold on. All right, so I just want to mention the snow removal policy again. We do not own our streets. We're not an independent city. Jefferson County actually has responsibility to maintain these streets, but like was said, we would be a very low priority. So our snow removal policy, if you get a chance to go look at it, is to keep our roads passable and to salt the hills and the entrances for safety's sake. And it can be significant. Last year was $40,000, and nobody was happy. But we had some kind of tough weather events there that hit us in a combination. So just be aware that we're trying to live within this policy and keep it safe and passable, but our dues don't give us the coverage to do a complete street clean every time it snows. So just be aware of that. But if the community decided they wanted to do that, we can vote it in and raise the dues and that would change. But right now, we are where we are. So just make sure anybody who brings that topic up is aware that that's where that stands. I just want to mention on deed restrictions, we have, I know we have 3 active people. Common issue is that they are parking on the street. They'll be getting notices tomorrow. And then we have 1 case of a repeat offender that is, I'm not quite sure what to think, but there's a collection of trash and garbage on this property. We've had issues with this person before, and this one may get expensive. We've got to do something about it. There's no regard. Yeah, there's no regard for our deed restrictions apparently by this person. So that's got to be dealt with. Okay, so that's all of the just basic opening overview. I think we're as a community we're facing some tough topics, but we're in pretty good shape. We have a good board members. Everybody pulls their weight. We're fortunate to have such good supporting board members. Okay, let's just go into old business. I'll give you an update. On the golf property, it is old business. This is 8-year-old business. There was a court date set for December 22nd in Jefferson County Circuit Court to go through a hearing of these 4 counts of violations that were against Hargoff, Chris Thieneman, and Neil Robertson, that were in violation of court orders to dissolve those 3 building lots that were put in place that we thought about, and one in the Judge Willett's court, state Supreme Court supported his ruling. Those 3 lots were to be remanded, removed, dissolved, and total disregard of that order by these folks. And the sale of the lot to Neil Robertson was even yet another step wherein a lot that didn't exist was sold to him. And then there were these plans to bring homeless encampment out here on this lot that Neil Robertson purchased. All of that, was listed in the suit. What happened was a negotiated settlement out of court, and basically, I think they actually went to court, but the parties agreed in front of the judge that they had agreed to comply. In the filing, the response to the filing, basically the attorney for Thieneman basically said that they were unaware that they were breaking any laws, and therefore they felt they shouldn't be held in contempt of court. And oh, by the way, will you pay for our legal fees? That was how that was worded, which was pretty pathetic. But there is agreement that all of that will be disregarded. No homeless encampment. No, those lots will be remanded. Okay, so that's what we've got out of that action. Had it not been for that, there were plans to continue to agitate this neighborhood. That I think that's the case where that combination is where Mr. Thieneman turned his public opinion in this neighborhood. Most all of us saw that there was that, and the pressure to pay 1.6 million for the remaining 100 acres before the end of the year. So that was an overview. We read all this the last time about the 6 liens being filed because the taxes weren't paid on the remaining 6 parcels. So we did research and found that there were 6 different lien holders on those properties, on those sections. The sale of those lots, those sections is possible. We did get guidance on that. And so long as the individual tracts, the sections of the golf property not subdivided, they can be sold. So we did get a request to come down to our attorney's office and sit down and listen to him and Chris Thieneman's attorney, and basically talk about where this thing was, in their plans to straighten this mess out. Thieneman announced that he had still intended to try to buy the rest of the golf property by year end. And as far as we can tell, he has successfully bought some of it, but it's confusing in that how he did it. He did not, follow the standard protocol in removing or clearing titles on these 3 sublots. So the attorney and his cohort are looking at that for us to determine if any of that's even legal. But supposedly he's bought some of this property. We have nothing proving, exactly what he's done. So we're investigating that. So Mr. Thieneman, did say that he's working on his plan for the clubhouse property, and we asked him to please present that. He didn't have one to present, and so nothing's new there. We've not ever seen a bona fide plan for what he's intending to do over there. So our comment to that was that so long as there is no commercial activity there, and there's nothing that he intends to do that is in violation of our Section 1 Master Deed restrictions, we're okay with it. But any commercial activity, absolutely forbidden. We'll fight you on that, and we made that very clear. So at this point, we're waiting for him to present some kind of a plan. He says it'll be by the end of January. So we'll post that, and we'll have a meeting on that when we see it. So everybody can see what he's working on, because none of us know. And he may well be listening on this meeting. We can't stop him from having, I'll be careful what I say. I don't intend to say anything I shouldn't say about that, but that's all we know right now on that topic. Let me talk for a minute about the Dobson Lane development. There has been a series of activity there. There was a suit filed by us against Ball Homes and the Planning Commission. This was back in October for their actions to approve and that development and to connect to our Glenmary streets. And essentially, they violated land development code. They violated our rights as our land rights by having the right to have a fence around our property. What they've done is they've opened a closed road in their plan and closed an open road. They don't want to spend the money to do the right thing to route traffic out Dobson Lane. They want to connect all traffic for that 108 homes to Blacksmith Road and route all the construction traffic and all that additional traffic through Glenmary. And so they filed a response basically saying that we were wrong and that this was just a ministerial approval. Our rebuttal to that was, no, everything we said by law, we were correct. So there's no court date set on that, but we will be going to court over that. We can't roll over and play dead. We'll keep you posted on that one. That one is as important as anything. We cannot let developers roll in here and ignore our land rights. We all paid, what we paid for these properties because of the partly because of the restrictions and the quality of life that they help uphold. And there's no sense in us allowing anything like that to happen. I will tell you one thing, just so you know it. The Dobson Lane property that Ball Homes is trying to develop is owned by this developer, Superior Builders. And this Superior Builders, Brian Wacker, is the same guy who bought the 14 lots over in the estate section of Glenmary. And there's been an issue as he's building homes over there, blocking our residents' traffic path. And he has no intention of helping us at all on that, which is he's irritated at us for challenging him on his ability to go ahead and just run over us on the Dobson Lane development. So that's what's going on behind the scenes there. I just want you all to know that there's no sense in hiding that, and that's uncalled for. So if that happens again, that is just call the police. That's a violation of policy for public streets, and I know they've had them blocked for up to 30 minutes pouring concrete. There's no sense in that, and that's Mr. Walker or Wacker has no intention of giving us any support, which is unfortunate for him. It's bad that that's happened, but it is what it is. On new business for this meeting, we really haven't had time, and we didn't want to get involved just yet because we need to be very careful. But the management company discussion, we do need eventually, probably next quarter, to finish analyzing that, make sure we get the coverage that we need and have all the rights that we were told we would have. It's not a lot of risk, but the issue there is there's too much activity here for a group of volunteers to keep up with it. It's impossible. We get 6, 8, 10 activities going on simultaneously, multiple communications on sales and refinancing, and it's impossible to give these people timely service. So that's part of what we would get with that. And some of these communications of mailings and keeping the record straight on deed restrictions, we really need the assistance. This community is too big to rely on volunteers. I mean, this is a business. This is a an almost 900 home business, We're a small nonprofit business, but we're a business. So it needs, we do need to do something there. And $12 a household per year, so long as we keep it close to that number, I think that's, in general, that's a very good idea. So we'll review that further and get into a lot more discussion as we move into the next quarter. That's I think that's a very good decision. Okay, so at this point, we should probably talk about questions that people have entered, and I think there's, hang on here, I got 2 more people that popped in late. We've got, let's see. Last time people were in the chat room, people were putting in some questions, and I wanted to see if there were any here now. No, I don't see any. Okay. Okay, let me just go into the ones that we have received to date. One young man in our neighborhood, very, he pays attention to everything. The first name is Eric. Eric wants to know, what is this construction going on Colonel Hancock? Well, this is the same construction that was going on for the last year and a half throughout the neighborhood. It's AT&T putting in fiber cable down Colonel Hancock, and they're working away. They were over in the phase 3 patio homes area this morning. So that's what that is. Mr. Petty wants to know about an update on the golf property. Okay. And there was more than one person. He wasn't the only one. We should say this. This board hasn't changed its position at all regarding the golf property. You know, that property is part of this community, and we've spent 8 years trying to, you know, keep it relative to the rest of the community where it should be. And there were some comments in the Maple Leaf that we made, which basically said that it would probably be the best idea eventually if the HOA owned that property. And where that was coming from is every single time somebody comes in and challenges, you know, use of that property, you got to fight them in court. And over a period of, there's somebody named T. I hope that's not Thieneman. I guess I'll admit him. But over a period of 8 years, we spent money we put it out in the open. Everybody knows about it. But over 8 years, we spent shy of $400,000 defending our land rights, and we've got 6 court victories. But the thought behind that comment was, this is not going to end until we own that property. And I don't want to own it, but in the end, I think that is a solution. And I didn't say how we would own it, but that is in the end. If I were asked to vote, you know, I would have to consider how you were going to end up owning it. But that's what was meant by that comment, and I think everybody here knows that as long as there's property out there that's got any way, shape, or form could be developed, you're going to have people wanting to challenge you on it. And with the court system and with the experiences we've had with our Planning and Zoning Commission, you know, somewhere, somehow, some way, somebody's going to end up getting approval to develop something. We need to make sure we hold that position. That's all that was based on. There's nothing else behind that. And here's an example. This next point I wanted to bring up, somebody asked about. Here's an example why you want to be cautious owning this golf property. This lawsuit of this young man who got himself injured over here on the fairway just off of Colonel Hancock. We had to get the insurance and well, everybody's insurance involved. The incident occurred actually on the golf course property, and the family and the attorney representing the family is still trying to sue anybody that, you know, that has insurance over this. And we had to through our insurance get this property surveyed and it was determined that the incident occurred on the golf course itself, on Par Golf's property. So, but that kind of thing is, what you'd be subjected to. I don't know where that's going to date, but I've got to clear this. I've got a subpoena here right now that I got from David Nicholas. Wanted me to appear in court over this, and we've been proven we have no ownership in it. So I'll deal with that. I just got this in the mail a couple of days ago, so I'll get that cleared. That's an example. Let's see.
Bob, it might be worth mentioning that anything that would require ownership will require a vote of the residents. Board won't make that decision.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yeah, thank you, Ron. Somebody, I'll address that in just a second, respond to that. Somebody just put up, Steve Blanford said, please have everyone mute their mic to stop the echo. The only mic that I see that's not muted is mine, Ron Huff's. Let's see, there aren't very many that aren't. I think everybody is muted. So, hey, Steve, if you're listening, turn your volume down. But I'm looking at the entire list. I don't see anybody that's not muted. And there's 86 people on here. And this is being recorded, like I said. So I'll post this thing being recorded to the cloud. Okay, yeah, back to Ron's comment now. It needs to be said again and again. This board or any future board has no intention of doing anything, especially involving a golf property, that would be approaching, violating, or conflicting with any of our governing docs. And if there's anything worth voting on, if there's something that, like I'll give you, for instance, Mr. Thieneman had the idea, 3 months ago that he was going to propose building homes over there. He wanted us to go along with him building homes around the clubhouse. Well, that's just an example. And we don't know what plan he has. We haven't seen anything. He hasn't told us anything. But if he were to present something like that, that would require a 75% voter approval by each section, every household, all 19 sections. Oh no, I take that back. There's 3 sections that specifically are not required to do that. So 16 sections. Is it Ron? Am I wrong? Is it 16 or is it 15? I got to go back. It's 156 homes, and I don't remember how many sections. Anyway, the 75% voter approval is the guiding light to keep this ship on the course it's on, and we have no intention of changing from that. And anybody who has an idea that violates, we're going to take it to residents. And unless you residents vote to change something, we're not doing it. Plain and simple.
It might, I'm not sure. I think it requires 75% of all 19 sections, because all 19 sections adopted Section 1 master deed restrictions. We might have to get a legal opinion on that if it ever comes up, but I believe it requires all 19 sections.
We'll get clarification on that. You're probably right. That's worth a question. Okay, does anybody, let's see, has anybody submitted any questions, or any of you board members have anything that we need to, anything else we need to bring up? This should have been one of the shortest board meetings we've had, and it looks like it probably is. I really don't have anything else that I think anybody's asked that we haven't addressed, but if anybody has anything, just put it in the chat box there real quick, and I'll be watching for it. We'll respond. Let's see. Yeah, nobody has anything, apparently. Okay. Let's see, Leslie Ford, she lit up there. I don't know. Oh, she didn't ask a question. I thought she was asking. Okay. All right.
will say something. You mentioned earlier that the Jefferson County is responsible for our roads here. I
Yes.
had called them back when I first moved here about 8, 9, 10 years ago about snow plow, and they said that they weren't responsible for this area.
That's not accurate. I don't know who you were talking to, but that's not accurate.
Okay, because I tried to get us put on the, how they have a snow plow list, and I tried to get us put on it because where I used to live was in the city limits, and they plowed my street very well. They salted it, plowed it, and so I did do that, and I was surprised to hear that they don't, consider us part of the the
Yeah.
city, I guess is what it is.
Is that you, Leslie? You lit up? I assume that was you that's talking.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is me.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, I tell you what, I should probably get a clarification on that from the county roads department, but there isn't any question about it. These roads are county roads. They pointed it out to us many times, and there is no question we are on the snow removal plan. It would be good to get it to see their response in writing, though. I've never asked them. We've just been told that we're a lower priority. We don't, subdivisions are not the they're not the priority. So I'm sure that was the reason why when this community was initially established, we didn't have any snow removal policy, and anybody that was living here in 94 which I'm sure there aren't that many people that are still here in 90. I was, and that was a disaster. And I don't know when the plan started, but I'm sure it was a good 10 years later. Well, Ron Huff, you were on the board. When did we start our snow removal? Any idea?
I want to say it was around 2010, maybe 11.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody's got a question here. It says the flags behind our yard on old 18. Oh, that's the same question. Yeah, the flags over the underground marking flags are all related to the AT&T fiber work. So yeah, that's what that is.
Lori
right.
Fernandez has a question.
Lori has one. Let's see. Wait a minute.
It says, have we gotten bids for plowing? We have Greenscapes has got that contract until the end of next year. We will be getting bids for plowing and landscaping next year.
Yeah, she said $40,000 sounds like a lot. I agree. Well, it's a big number, but you should see some of our similar communities what they paid. Let's see. Last year, Glen Oaks paid over $120,000. I don't know what their dues are, but that would put us under. We can't do that. Let's see. Any more questions?
Patty Mitchell has a question.
I can't see it. Hang on. Let me click the chat again. Patty, scroll down. Well, read it because it's not showing up. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. It goes the other way.
You see it?
I do now. I know you mentioned you have to look into the legalities of the CT end of December purchase, but just for clarification, because I'm sure many of us do not understand what holes make up. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a good point. We don't really know what he did. I think it was intentionally written as vaguely as they could, but we have 3 documents that were submitted to us that show that he did purchase some property, and the tracks, without having the plat maps, you couldn't tell. You get the you know, 3-inch long, small print, little description of all the survey coordinates, and it called them track A and track 1, and that doesn't match anything that we have in our land documents. Okay, so we owe it to the community to research that and get you a clarification on what he's done, what he owns. We'll do that. That's a fair point. Now that I figured out how to work this thing going backwards, let's see. I guess this is Jack Mayer. Flags behind her 18. Oh yeah, that's the one about the question about the utilities for AT&T fiber. And let's see, Deborah Miller. Oh, she's thanking us. Well, thank you. We don't get a lot of praise. We try hard. And we try not to. We get a lot of criticism, but we have best intentions, believe me. Let's see. Here's someone. Kurt wants to know any update on maintaining the golf course. Well, yeah, Kurt. The comment was, we fully intend, and we made it clear to Mr. Thieneman, and that's one of the things we did make clear to him when we were in the room with him. We intend for him to start cutting the grass, and if he has an issue with that, he's going to find out it's going to be very tough to get out of that. We were, and I just reviewed that with our attorneys, and I want to make sure nobody was blinking. The issue is Section 1 Master Deed restrictions apply to that golf property, but there's a lot of verbiage in the Section 1 Master Deed restrictions that talk about homes, and he's got a golf course, or he's got recreational property. So the one thing that's in there that's applicable to anything is the duty to maintain. And so keeping the grass cut, and fallen trees, cleaned up, we'll go after him over duty to maintain. And that's, I think we should, and we have every right to. Let's see if anybody else has anything in here. Okay. All righty. Yep. We've addressed all these so far. There's been a few. Yeah, it is Jack Mayer. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see what he's saying. Jack's saying, yeah, that the flag's marking the golf course. Okay. So I'm sure that it was required that survey pin points be identified for the sale. So I know he owns that property. That's the old hole 18. He owns that. So that's what those flags are about. Okay.
Bob,
All right. Yes.
Lori Owen put on there 40K, just sounds like a ton of dollars, and that's for snow removal. And in one sense, she's right. One of the bid that we have now, the contract that is on for snow removal, is basically they will only give you a rate per hour that they charge. One of the things I want to investigate this next year is, can we get a per incident cost, so we know each time they plow approximately what it's going to cost the neighborhood. I don't particularly like the hourly rate, but I don't know if anybody will give us a fixed cost for plowing. So that's something we're going to investigate. Just wanted to answer that question.
Good response. Thank you. Says there's one new message. I'm trying to find it. Hang on one second. Oh, she says or per mile. I guess she's talking about snow removal. Well, what they do is size truck, snowplow. They've got rates for everything, whether they're putting down brine or salt. The plowing, the type of plowing it takes. If it's a light snow, they use these little light trucks. If it's a big deep snow, they need a dump truck with a big blade and all that. There's different rates. So yeah, I'm going to be surprised if we can get anything other than rates per hour for the equipment that it takes for the situation. If I was in the business, I wouldn't quote you a firm fixed price, or if I did, you'd be awful high. You probably wouldn't like me too much, because nobody's going to, in a business, proposition is going to set themselves up to get trapped and lose money. They just won't do it. They shouldn't. They
Do
wouldn't
you
be in
remember
business.
Greenscapes giving us how many miles there was in Glenmary?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember how much it was? Because I was shocked.
It was shocking. I swear, Bob Beard rattled it off a couple of times. I forgot.
There's a lot of miles in here.
I think he said, this is just, I'm just pulling this out of thin air. I think he said 17 miles.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
I think that's what he said. That sounds about right. It's a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have any new questions. We got 7 more minutes to go. If anybody's got anything they want to ask us, we'll try to answer it. We really are, we're trying to stay on top of this thing and do the best we can. If you got anything, please submit your comments, but if not, we'll make a motion to adjourn. Appreciate everybody attending. Just for the record, we had 82 people sign in tonight. That's pretty good. And nobody caught COVID from this meeting that I'm aware of. So that's another good thing. As we've gotten better with using this tool, I think it's actually, for this kind of a meeting, it's a good option. And for the record also, we still can't find a public facility that'll let us use their space for free. None of that. We could get the little Fern Creek Community Center up there, but we've got a COVID event. I doubt, we didn't ask them this time, but I doubt they'd let us conduct a meeting in there. None of the public school systems properties can we get. And a couple churches we asked wouldn't let us use theirs either. So this is a good option for now. So everybody stay safe. And
Hey, Bob, there's a question that came in.
Yes.
It says T. I don't know who T is. Said hole 18 that CT purchased. Is that zone recreational?
Yeah, the status
Yes.
today, every bit of that golf property is still zoned recreational, including what Chris Thieneman, the clubhouse property. It's all recreational, and that's as part of the planning and zoning's moves to flex their muscle and show us their authority. They chose to ignore the notes that are all over every one of the plat maps that state that these sections are zone recreational and that they're then they cannot be subdivided. So yeah, we won on that point. So yes, the answer is yes. Let's see, what's this? Somebody just added something else. What is that, Chad? I can't. I'm trying to read it here.
It's about sidewalks.
I have a question about sidewalks. I'm sure the city is in charge of them. Has anybody had any luck or know of a good way about to go about getting, what's the rest of the question? I can't see it.
Getting them fixed when they are uneven parts that make a big rise in the sections. I thought.
I'll tell you what.
Robin Engel's office.
Yeah, here's a couple of comments. For sure, anything that's not in front of your property or attached to your property, it's public. It's owned by the county, but not everybody knows this. The sidewalk in front of your house, your property, you own that. You're responsible for that thing. And if it gets uneven, gets cracked, gets trip hazards in it. I was shocked, but that's the answer. That's exactly what it is. You have to fix that. That's on you. So, but
really
anything that's not you, like on a corner where they put in the handicap access ramps, here just 3 or 4 years ago, that was all done by the county. Okay, I don't see any more.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, we need a second.
Second.
All right, folks. Thanks everyone for attending. We'll stay in touch and we'll get these minutes out and get this recording out for anybody that missed it. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.